I'm Monty Mont.
I'm Nate the Great.
Ronaldo's in the house.
And I'm Tiff.
And the Richard Williams biopic, King Richard. We seen it. Guys, thank you for joining us back. The We Seen It crew is here. We got some of our regulars, man. Nate the Great is here, Ronaldo's, and making her debut appearance on the We Seen It podcast. You might know her from some other big time podcasts that she's on. She's world famous traveler, been all around the globe since the last time y'all seen her. Tiff is in the house. What's up, Tiff?
What's going on, everyone? How are you?
Good. Ronaldo's, how you doing, bro?
I'm blessed of the Lord.
Yes, sir. And Nate, how are things going? Man?
I'm doing good, man. Still settling down after Thanksgiving.
Hey, yeah, I see that saxophone in the back. Still ain't. All right, so guys, we're gonna get right into it. There was a amazing. I remember when I heard the concept that this was gonna happen, and I heard who was attached to this. I said, "Wow, we might have something here." The story of Richard Williams, the father of Serena and Venus Williams, of course, the tennis champions, and the biopic. So I'm gonna go around right now and ask, when you first heard about this movie, what were your initial thoughts? I'll start with you, Nate.
All right, so when I first heard about this, I can't remember if I just saw like a commercial on TV or if it was on Will Smith's Instagram page, but when I knew that he was going to be starring in this biopic, I was like, is it time for this man to win an Oscar? That's my first thoughts, was this is his project where he's going to win an Oscar. That's the very first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah. Ronaldo's.
I was greatly intrigued to see the storyline. I knew the father and I knew he had done great things. I just didn't know all the nuances of what it took to get Venus and Serena there. So I wanted to hear the story of.
Like Nate the Great, I was excited and I was thinking, this is the time. He is going to get an Oscar for this, absolutely. And I think I probably heard about it maybe on social media or something like that. I read that it was coming. So I was excited, very excited.
I was as well. And for a couple of different reasons. I'm kind of a mix of everybody. It's like, I felt, this has got some Oscar bait on it. And like Ron said, just to get some more of the details now, some of y'all don't know. I mean, you might not know if you don't really know me, but I am a tennis player. I used to play when I was a kid. Weird story. I don't know why. Thank Mr. Beeman, Dr. Beeman. The doctor that delivered me into this world, he came to my mother years later and wanted to sponsor me to play tennis. And so he paid for a lot of things when I was a kid. Of course, I was the only Black kid out there. But I played for a while, and I've always kind of just gravitated toward tennis from then and kind of followed it. So let's get into this, guys. This movie for me is outstanding. Okay, it's outstanding.
Can I just say something really quick? I'm sorry, Nate, Ronnie. Every time something happened, I mean, it's like every show something else. Like I didn't know you played tennis. Like he come out with a new instrument. Got a
every
new
time.
sport, okay, that's fine. Okay.
Do you want to really go there?
Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm like, he played tennis now? Like,
the jack of all trades.
Yeah, like what?
I was doing the Super Bowl with Michael Jackson. Do you really want to right now on this show?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna behave. Okay.
So the movie drops, and I was very excited to watch it. And I'm gonna be honest, I was just blown away. It was so well done, so well acted, and not just Will carrying it, but we're going to get into the actors as well. So I know I do this a lot now, but I'm just going to jump the gun. Out of 5 reels, I'm giving it 4.5 reels. That's how well I measure the movie. So out of 5 reels, Ron, what do you give it out of 5 reels? We're gonna take it right there.
I give it a 5.
Okay, wow. High praise. Tiff?
You know what? I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 too.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Really good. Nate?
I'm actually give it a solid 4.
Solid.
It was really good. Yeah.
That's fair. So real quick, then let's just highlight because Will Smith, of course, plays Richard Williams. Anjanae Ellis plays Orsine Williams, who's the mother. And I think some supporting actress buzz could be coming for her.
Yes, sir.
She is outstanding in this. And you know what? Let's talk about Angelina Ellis very quickly, because if you followed her career, she also played in the Clark Sisters movie. She played Maddie Moss Clark, the mother in the Clark Sisters movie. If you really old school, kind of old school, you'll know her from Undercover Brother, where she played Sister Girl, and she was great in that. She's been in Ray, The Help. She was in Lovecraft Country. I mean, she is. We don't really list her as great Black actresses, you know. Like
no, she's kind of slept on, I think.
She is. That's what I want to ask. Do you feel like she slept on?
Mm-hmm.
I do. Like,
I think one of her best projects I saw her in was the Quantico series. That was her.
Okay. So I didn't see that.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about that? How did you feel about her performance? Especially, she had a couple scenes where she went toe to toe with Will, and I felt she more than handled her own. Tiff, I'm gonna start with you.
Absolutely. I'm going to say she held her own. You know, when you think about, you know, Will Smith, okay, and someone working with him, I think that would be a little intimidating. But I think that, you know, she held her own. I think she did great. I really do.
Yeah,
I was moved by her performance.
Nate?
Yeah, definitely held her own. I was listening to another movie reviewer, and he said something I was thinking. Like, anytime a biopic or a movie like this happens, there's usually somebody that has a monologue, and there's a scene in this movie where she has a monologue, and you can almost tell that, yeah, she's going to get supporting actress, or she's going to get some type of award because of how well she went toe to toe with Will, or just like, you know, like Tiff said, she wasn't overshadowed by Will's character, by Will Smith being the great actor that he is. She held her own. Throughout the whole movie, I actually loved her character. She's probably my favorite character out of the whole movie, actually.
Yeah. Ron?
She always seems to play a good, strong Black woman. She represents the sisters well, kind of like Angela Bassett does and Regina King. She always, all her parts, she represents sisters real well.
Yeah, very much so. And like Nate said, there is that point in the movie. I'm thinking if you saw Fences, where, you know, Viola and Denzel, and Viola really just is, you know, and like you said, Tiff, I mean, Will Smith is a really nice guy, but on set, it could be intimidating. I mean, it's Will Smith, but that's why it's good to have a seasoned actress like Anjanae. And there's a scene in the kitchen. I mean, look, we're gonna probably have to spoil this movie, so hopefully you've seen it by the time you watch us. But where she,
and if they haven't, what you waiting on?
I know. Yeah, there's no reason. Streaming. You can stream it and watch it. What you waiting on? But in that kitchen scene, I mean, she really is this where they're, you know, he's feeling like it's my dream, it's my vision for the girls, and she's like, no. I was right there with him. I was there helping, you know, and all of that stuff. So I thought she was just amazing. And it really, you didn't want somebody that will overshadow, because I feel like it would have taken away from the movie. And she did not. Also, John Bernthal plays Rick Macy, the coach who was tried to the fire with the Williams family. And it was great. Tony Goldwyn plays the earlier coach, Paul Cohen, and then just the girl. These girls. Sanaya Sidney plays Venus Williams. Demi Singleton plays Serena Williams. Michaela Lachey Bartholomew plays Tundi, and there's Danielle Larson plays Issa, and Leah Crawford plays Lindrea. So the girls were Jesse, Venus, Serena.
I have fallen in love with Sanaya.
Yeah. Go ahead and talk about it. Go ahead.
You know what, when you think about playing those shoes, those are some really big shoes to fill, right? And I mean, it's like she's been acting for her whole entire life. She really did a phenomenal job. Like, she really, really, really did. She is such an amazing actress, and I'm looking forward to see whatever it is that she does in the future. I really am. Like, she really did her thing in this movie. Yeah.
Ron, what do you think about the girls?
Those girls that play Venus and Serena, they did kind of like how Jamie Foxx does in Ray. It make you forget about Jamie Foxx, and you actually see the characters that they're playing. Those little girls remind you of Venus and Serena at that age. and you don't really see them as actors playing that part. You see Venus and Serena, so they did an awesome job.
That's a great point. Nate.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, they inspired me to just, I felt like I need to go out there and start playing tennis now, or I feel like I can, whatever I want to do, I could do it, just because how they embody the character, the people of, Venus and Serena. These actresses, they just did phenomenal. I love seeing, what's her name? Sanaya?
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely loved her, because the movie is kind of focused more on Venus's character. But I mean, she took it and she ran with it, and she did exceptional. I loved it.
If you learn how to play tennis, just go and ask Monty. He know.
Yeah, right.
Sorry. Okay.
Now, see, I'm gonna talk about that though. Now, I'm sure they use like some CGI. There's no way these girls are hitting professional grade, but watching their form, they had really good form. Like sometimes in sports movies, if you got the guy playing the quarterback, you can tell like this brother don't know how to throw the ball at all, or basketball, but just the way they had really good form, and them girls worked, to they weren't just born tennis players that happened to be they're actresses, and they really, I was really watching to see how accurate they would just have the form, and they really did a good job. I can't even gush enough about it. So let's get to our favorite scene of the movie. I'll start. I would have to say, well, it's a lot. It's so many. And the kitchen scene with Richard and Orsine is an outstanding one. But honestly, it was in the trailer as well. But Richard in the van talking to the girls and affirming them and telling them what they could be. It really got to me. It just because to, a lot of young people, unfortunately, might not have their father in their lives, or, broken homes, whatever, and doing the best. But to have your father believe in you that much, and this movie will show you what real sacrifice is for a whole family believing. But him driving that little van and the girls, and anytime they were in the van with him, even if it was all the girls, I loved it. I just loved it. Like Will really, he was kind of hunched over and he's driving, he's got this mannerism, and I love that. That's one of my favorite parts. Nate, do you have a favorite scene?
I do, actually. One of my favorite scenes was when Venus was getting interviewed by that man, and he kept asking questions like, "Why do you feel this way? Why do you feel? Where did this confidence come from?" He kept drilling her to the point where, the dad came out and was like, "You were messing. You were talking to a 14-year-old black girl. You can't be." And he was just going in, and I really got to see Will Smith's, like that, the Will Smith that I grew up with started to come out, and I was like, yeah, I like that, because he was so angry, he was so firm, that because really what that person was trying to do, the interviewer was trying to get into that, Venus's head before she even got out there, ruining her, chances of being successful. And I really like that, because that actually happened. Will Smith posted it on his whatever, and he was doing the back and forth of what actually happened versus what actually happened in the movie, and it was so crazy how realistic and how identical it was to the real thing. And I was like, man, that is so crazy that happened, and that he had to actually do that. And I was like, that was beautiful.
Tiff, do you have a favorite scene?
You know what? Nate the Great just named it all. Like, there was a few scenes in here that I love, but that was one of my favorites. When, he was getting interviewed by the man, and again, the dad had to step in. I think that what we saw here was the ultimate girl dad, right? He was everything to them. He was their protector. He was their encourager. He did everything. So that scene right there was just like, in so many words, like, listen, back off, leave my baby alone. Okay, she said what she said. That's what it was. And I love that scene. I really love that scene a lot.
Yeah. Ron.
I have to piggyback on what they were saying. What touched me is the fact of the dad part of it, where my scene would have been with the gangbangers, and they was out at the tennis courts, and the dude was trying to hit on Tundi.
Yeah.
And dad had to step up. I got my 5 girls with here. Whether I'm gonna get beat down or not, I got to be the man in front of my girls. So he took his whooping and he got in the van. And my whole time, I'm like, man, he just got beat up in front of his daughters. Like, how do you save face from that? But he got in the van and kind of just like calmed the whole situation. Like, They like, Dad, you just got beat up. Like, what's going on? He like, that's nothing. I grew up in the South. I used to get beat up all the time by white people. That's nothing. Get beat up is nothing.
Yeah.
So that's
absolutely
that thing right there, how he was able to still be dad and man in front of his girls after he took that whooping.
Wow.
was big to me.
That's a powerful scene, man, because I believe that's the line where he says how the world never had no respect for Richard Williams.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna get respect, and that's a great one too. It's so many to pick through this biopic. So I want to get to what I call the hidden figures of this movie. Again, now, you know, as I said, and Tiff keeps reiterating, I did play tennis. And it's funny because when I was a kid, now you might not know his name, there was a guy named Michael Chang. Michael Chang, I believe he won the French Open, and he was Asian. So I like Michael Chang because he was only not that I don't like. I love a lot of white tennis players, Boris Becker, you know what I'm saying, Pete Sampras. But I did like Michael Chang because I just didn't see no other really that many people of color. And so I just, man, Michael Chang. So when Venus and Serena came on the scene, oh my God, you just were like, what? Who are these girls? Like, they got the braids and the beads and all this stuff. It was a huge, huge thing. But, you know, I remember during that time, Richard Williams was kind of treated like this crazy parent dad, this crazy tennis dad. And there was like a real, you know, if you've ever followed like LeVar Ball, they kind of treat how they do LeVar like, oh, this guy's just talking, blah, blah, blah. You know, now it turns out, looked like LeVar Ball was right, and the same thing with Richard Williams. And as I was watching the movie, I always called it the Hidden Figures effect, because when I watched that movie, Hidden Figures, halfway through the movie, I got a little upset because I had never heard about the Hidden Figures movie. Halfway through this movie again, seeing all the sacrifice and things, I started to get a little perturbed at the way Richard Williams had been portrayed for a lot of years as just this loudmouth guy. And it's just like, why, when a Black parent is proud and won't take no stuff about their kids, it's perceived as a problem, when we see white parents have done this all the time, you know, and it really kind of got to me a little bit. I don't know if anybody felt that during the movie or watching the movie, but I kind of was just like, because again, I followed it for a long time. I don't know if anybody did. You got the floor.
No, I did. And you know what? These pageant mothers are brutal. Okay. Like, you know, those women, okay, go nuts behind those kids. All right. So you're right. I did get that. But what I loved is that he wasn't really as crazy as people made him out to be.
No.
In reality, he brought balance to their life. I thought, you know, it was, he wanted them so badly to be tennis stars, which obviously they turned out to be, but he also wanted them to be children. And so he didn't really drive them as crazy as people thought that they did, and how we know that other parents do in certain, you know, in music and in sports and in dance and all of these things. These parents can really be brutal. And he really wasn't, in my opinion. I mean, you know, he wasn't like Joe Jackson.
I totally agree with that, because even after this movie came out, because I didn't know anything about the dad at all until this movie, actually. And I was going on some of the comments when people, you know, were talking about it, and they was like, why are we praising their dad? You know, Richard Williams was an awful father. And this is even after the movie came out and they had watched the movie. They said this didn't happen. And I was just thinking, I was like, you know, that can't be true because of how, you know, this movie came out. You know, I feel like Serena and Venus would have said something, but I really liked how even in the movie they talked about that. Like when the police came up to their door and they're actually in their house, and the dad just went in, you know, he was like, what are you guys doing here? And he said, you know, we got a call that you were pretty much abusing your children by making them work super hard on, you know, tennis. And he was like, basically, he summed it up by saying, it's better for me to be training them and working them in something good than for them to be out here in these streets, basically. Yeah. And I really like that because, like you said, you know, he may have been a tough dad. He may have been, raise them in a way that they were training maybe outside in the rain. They were doing this and that, but it wasn't, he still allowed them to be kids. That was the whole, he didn't want them to be burnt out because of the training, because of them playing sports. Yeah. It was, I want you to be successful, but I also want you to still have a life. I still also want you to have that childhood, you know, in you growing up. And so I think he did a great job as a father raising these two, amazing women.
And people can say what they want, but the reality of this is, if there were no him, we wouldn't have Venus and Serena. Mm-hmm. It's because of him that mm-hmm. they exist, okay? Mm-hmm. And they are who they are, of mm-hmm. course, with the help of God and their father, of course. Right. So without him, we wouldn't know who they were. So why not make a movie about him?
Right.
Yeah. That's Ron, do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, his sheltering of them and allowing them to be well-rounded, prepared them for what they was going to have to go through in that tennis circuit, as far as and having that strong family structure while mm-hmm. going through that, because they went through a lot of racism while integrating and becoming that great in tennis. And then and the fact that they had their father, their sister, their mother with them along the way kind of shelter some of that. And that's coming from the meager background that they came from. Without their dad not giving up and pushing, they would have never got the training they needed to become mm-hmm. that great, nor would have broken to tennis the way that they did. So he had a plan and he stuck with it, regardless of, he was a visionary, regardless of what everybody on the outside side said, or regardless of what it looked like. He knew what his vision was and he knew where he wanted to get them. He said, no, I got the next two Michael Jordans. He didn't see good tennis players. He said, no, I got Michael Jordans. So it was a certain lane that I got to make sure mm-hmm. that they stay down this path, because I'm getting them to greatness. What you see in Venus and Serena is two Tiger Woods that don't get the scandal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. You see a little bit about what happens on those streets. Okay. I'm born and raised in South Central. Okay. Compton is right around the corner. Okay. There were so many things that they could have been doing.
Right.
And he saved them from a lot. Those streets are, they're not for the weak. Okay. Right. So they could have been doing a lot of things, and he protected and sheltered them from what was going on just outside their door.
No. And, there's a part where, for those who don't really know the tennis world, like when you're that young and you're coming up, everybody plays juniors, and mm-hmm. he got Rick Macy to take the girls. I love how Rick Macy gives them a contract, and then Richard gives Rick Macy a contract too. Yeah. And Ron, you're right, he was a total visionary. But then he's like, but I don't want them playing juniors. And it's like, wait, what? Like, they mm-hmm. gotta play juniors. He's like, no, I still want to be kids. And what true visionary is not misunderstood? Like, you're going to mm-hmm. be misunderstood because you're going a different way. And Tiff, you hit on it, because I've heard Venus and Serena maybe talk about how coming up, it was a lot of work. And, sometimes we did maybe want to go to a dance or all that, but they literally said, like, we don't feel like we missed out on anything because it was worth it, what we were doing. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they were doing it against their will. They loved it. Mm-hmm. And their father was a big part of it. And so he really instilled in some things in those girls. And the movie is a very heavier on Venus, because Venus was the breakthrough to begin with. And I remember this because you just heard his name, Venus Williams, even before you heard Serena. And there's a part where, Richard goes to Serena and says, Venus is going to be great, but you might be the greatest of all time. And he had to use Venus because she was older to kind of pave the way mm-hmm. and open up and let Serena come in as well. And they're both all-time greats. So I do want to hit on one thing. We're kind of talking about it. On Twitter, there's Dr. Jessica Taylor. She said, she put on Twitter, did they seriously make a film called King Richard, quote, about the success of Serena and Venus Williams, but it's about their dad, Richard? And that sparked quite a firestorm, because first of all, they that you're talking about, the executive producers, are Venus and Serena Williams.
Right.
I had to just, because I got really upset when I saw this at first. And I'm like, are we really going to do this? Like, are we really going
That's crazy.
I don't even know the word for it. I don't want to call it feminize it, but it's just like, again, like Tip said, they wouldn't be here if mm-hmm. it wasn't for him. And trust me, Venus and Serena are powerful and rich enough. If they want to make a movie about themselves, they can make a movie about themselves. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But they wanted this story told for people, like Nate said, you had never even really known about Richard.
No.
And so they decided this is what we want to do. So I really, the backlash.
He had to definitely be a man's man. He had to be a heck of a man to go into the arena that, of course, you would have been uncomfortable in an arena full of, during that time in the early 80s, amongst all white people, people of money. And it seemed like everywhere he went, he made sure he was the big man in that discussion. And this dude, if we all remember him, had nothing in his grill, and he was doing all of this. So you already, your presentation, it ain't like you rich or even close to the wealth, and you're going in all of these business meetings and saying, no, this is the vision, this is the plan, and y'all. There was a time in that movie where he was getting everything he wanted. He was living in this big home, and he wasn't even letting his girls go out and generate money for the people that was putting him on. They was feeding them, housing them, and training them. And he said, "Who's gonna train them for free?" He said, well, he told the one coach, "You did."
You did.
Yeah.
He was the man.
Yeah, I totally. I gotta say, I mean, I feel like this is the best way to tell this story. The whole theme regarding this story was, if you plan to fail, you fail to plan, or if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
And you know, Richard Williams is based on a true story. He wrote a 78-page, document about how they were going to be successful. He planned this out before they were even born. And so I feel like this is an excellent way to pay homage to his who he was and how they became as successful as they are. Because, I mean, yeah, it's their story. Yes, it is Venus and Serena. Yes, it is. But it wouldn't, like Tiff said, they really wouldn't be anything without their father. Their father sacrificed so much. He had to be the man. He had to, hold things together. Him and his wife had to hold things together. Had to plan things out, stick to the plan, not going off, trying to chase after win, basically. He had to stick to the plan. And as you see, it paid off. So I feel like this is an excellent way to, kind of bring this story about, is to do it through the eyes of their fathers. Like that's the best.
Every time somebody talks about this plan, right, I get these goosebumps, because that is like the best part of the movie for me. He keeps referencing this plan that he created for his children, like Nate said, before they were even born. And the Bible talks about writing a vision and making it plain. And this is the best part. Like, this is you have to write it down. That is the first step that you need to do. Write the vision down. And he did that. That was just so inspiring to me.
It was.
That's a great. I just had a talk with a person, and they were talking about how I got to write my stuff down, and we're going to talk about this movie, but you guys are speaking so well about this, and it is true. And see, here's the thing. We don't need Richard Williams to be a perfect man. He's not a perfect man.
No.
Right.
They got into some of his flaws, very stubborn, you know what I'm saying? Or a scene read him real good, you know what I'm saying? And that kid, go back to that kitchen scene.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be where, show all his faults in this. You guys aren't sure. That's not relevant to him pushing his daughters to be the best that they can be. And I felt like they were very fair. It's not just all roses with him, because, man, he's a complicated guy. I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of layers, but he believed in these girls, and he did the best he could with these girls. I mean, and to the point that you could see they had Richard Williams in them, because there's a point where I believe it's Nike wants to sign Venus for like $2 million or something like that. And, and again, Rick, the coach, Rick, is just excited. Yes, we did it. And they're sitting in the hotel room, and the Nike rep hands a contract over. And Richard says, "You need to talk to Venus. Don't even ask me." And Venus is like, I ain't playing. That's a Richard Williams effect.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Let me tell you right now, you sitting here, you watching this, you listening to this, you turn down $2 million right now when you ain't had nothing. It's easy to say, knowing where she is now, but being poor, the whole family then came over in a Winnebago to be here, and that's the Richard Williams effect. And listen, these women now are successful in business beyond tennis. Venus and Serena are brands, you know what I'm saying? And that
the other daughters as well, too. The other daughters went on to some success in their careers as well.
Yep. He said that we got doctors, we got, one of them was a doctor. They're all these girls are just amazing. So I just wanted, the backlash I felt was just really ridiculous. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
What else you want to do? I mean, we got a black director directing Will Smith and a whole biopic about two of the greatest twin stars of all time. We can't do no more, y'all. Okay, that's as great as we can do.
Yeah,
that's all we can give y'all. So,
and I just love how they just walked in the room being a black self. I just love when people are unapologetically black. Just doing what they do. I said I love that kind of carrying on. Come on, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and understand something. They didn't play no mess on that tennis court. Like, no. There was a little incident early in Venus's career where, when you finish a game, you're supposed to switch sides, and she was walking toward the net to the one side, the girl was walking, and I guess the girl expected Venus just to move aside, and Venus ain't move aside, and they kind of bumped shoulders. Again, in the tennis community, oh child, did you see Venus? She bumped. Huh? I mean, but Richard taught him. I mean, I don't even think tennis is as bad as golf, but trust me, tennis was, not very colorful very much. And these girls had to really stand their own and take a lot of stuff, and they did it. And I mean, they dominated. So shout out. We're gonna wrap it up, but I really want to say hats off. There's a little bit of trivia as well I'm going to get to where they, Will Smith was reportedly paid $40 million for this role. Wow. And it's said that Will actually divided out a lot of that money and gave bonuses to the actors in the performance with him because he just believed in the project so much. And that's Will being Will. Yeah. Shout out to that. And again, and I meant to say the name of the director is Lord. I had it too. Young guy is Ronaldo Green. So shout out to Ronaldo Green as well. So any parting thoughts before we get done here on King Richard, guys?
I just hope it wins an Oscar. I think Will Smith is well overdue for an Oscar.
Okay, well, let's talk about that real quick. We got to talk about so the Oscars aren't till like next year in March. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty confident he's going to be nominated. I would like to see Anjanae nominated as well. She was. The Oscars, though, man, is just such a It's hard to really, because Lord knows what can happen. These award shows are so. So I would like to think now they're saying that Benedict Cumberbatch, aka Doctor Strange, he's got a movie coming out that everybody's kind of buzzing about too. Like, ooh, he can be now. I remember when Denzel did Training Day. And Russell Crowe did this movie called A Beautiful Mind, and it was the same thing. It was like, yeah, with Russell Crowe, and I couldn't hardly even take it. I was like, Lord, so I'm not gonna get my hopes too far up.
Yeah,
we just saw what happened with Chadwick, whatever. Yeah. But I feel like he should be nominated, and that's the best I guess I can hope for right now. But yeah. So we gonna see. Because look, do y'all know? I just saw something. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame put Jay-Z in.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Great for Jay-Z.
Yeah.
But in the same class, they put LL Cool J in. I was like, wait, how y'all just now putting LL in?
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
Like he built Def Jam back in. I was like, wait, why they keep referencing LL Cool J? And he just there to be see, that's why you can't always.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, these people are delayed with handing out these flowers to these folks.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like LL was about in the 80s. Like
yeah. He should have been there.
They put the Beastie Boys in 10 years ago. He should have been with them. But anyway. So yeah. Guys, thank you so much. Please, if you hadn't watched the movie, you sat through all this, go watch it now, because I don't know what else to tell you, but amazing movie. It's everything I thought it would be and more. Shout out. So appreciate you guys joining us. Of course, We Seen It podcast. We got more stuff coming out. We're about to, and I'm gonna let everybody know here as well, Christmas movie time. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of shows of our favorite Christmas movies. Tiff, you're welcome. come through. Ronaldo's anything Christmassy we're gonna talk about. We're gonna spread. Of course, I will be definitely doing the "You'll Shoot Your Eye Out, Kid," A Christmas Story. I love that movie. So
check Hawkeye out. I've seen the first 2 episodes.
Hawkeye, we got it. We're gonna talk about Hawkeye too. We got a lot coming, and as well, me and Miss Nash. We got a whole new thing coming up at the start of the year. New show. We're gonna be back as well. So appreciate you guys joining me, and check us out. We've seen the podcast. You always know what to do. Be blessed. Stay sharp, guys. Thank you.